Hey folks, if you're looking for an in-depth review, you're in the right place. And today, I'm talking about Benmergu's Storyteller, an adorable puzzle game focused around telling tales. But was this narrative-oriented adventure a clever comedy, or just a tragedy waiting to happen? I'm your host Arlyeon, let's find out together. And first up, a bit of irony, because despite the fact that this game is centered around the idea of storytelling, there isn't really an overarching narrative to latch onto. Weird, I know. Still, that doesn't mean you're bereft of stories, it just means it's your job to piece them together. In fact, that's the overall premise of the game, as each stage is based around fulfilling the prompt you're given, such as everyone rejects Edgar or a husband kills his wife. And that's where the neat puzzle solving kicks in, because in order to achieve these results, you need to make use of the scenes and characters it provides you. Here's the thing though. Some of the more complex results will actually require a number of steps, as the manner in which a character interacts with a given environment or character can be influenced by prior events. Making normally cordial characters kill each other can take a bit of legwork at times, and that's without even taking into consideration the other elements of Storyteller. Specifically, you have a limited number of panels in order to achieve the story's outcome, which can require some outside-of-the-box thinking as you start to get into the more convoluted prompts. Suffice to say, by the time you get to the very last chapters, you'll be putting all of those panels to very good use. And that's not even the whole of it either, since along the way you'll also begin to encounter stories with optional objectives. Some of these are relatively simple, such as breaking the hearts of every character in a story without killing anyone, but there are some absolute doozies to figure out in the mix, with one of my favorites being the mission which tasks you with solving a murder without a convenient witness. And I have to admit, as far as the experience goes, it definitely looks good to boot. The amount of effort put into the different animations for the various characters and environment combinations is really rewarding. Even if they have no bearing on solving a puzzle, there's so many little things you get to tinker around with, some of which actually factor into the game's achievement system, such as making a professor cry. And they're all accompanied by cute little sound effects to boot. Plus, there's a fun soundtrack to accompany the whole journey. Here's the thing though. At the end of the day, while this game does provide some clever puzzles to contend with, it is ultimately a very short experience, and if you're adept at puzzles and logic games, you might burn through it faster than you'd like. Still, I actually have to say that it did make for a good afternoon's worth of fun, enough so that I can call it a hit. I'll also have to admit that seeing Storyteller Part 1 during the credits left me hopeful for some more content in the future. Anywho, thanks for tuning in. If you agree, disagree, or just have something to say to me, feel free to comment. And if you enjoy my efforts to create new indie reviews, interviews, and gaming content, hit the subscribe button and the bell. For Discord savvy folks, there is a link to my community, the Crit Hit Cauldron, in the video description, and my Patreon if you want to support me and the other members of Crit Hit, or see some of the episodes that I'm working on potentially weeks in advance. Or if you just want to badger me about what game you want to see covered next. There's also a link to my Twitch. I am currently on a bit of a break from it, but if you want to see me get dunked on in games live, that is generally the place to go. In any case, I'll catch y'all in the next episode of Crit Hit. Take care till then, folks.